This April marks 100 years since legendary author F. Scott Fitzgerald published The Great Gatsby.
The novel, now known worldwide, examines the excesses of wealth, society, and lost love. And the History Center of Lake Bluff is giving you a look at how this town inspired his work. Carol Summerfield joins us with more. Welcome to the show, Carol.
Well, thank you for having me.
Okay, so you're the executive director of the History Center of Lake Bluff. Tell us about this connection. You know, Sarah and I were both talking like we're not familiar with it.
Right, so when F. Scott Fitzgerald was in college, he was at a party in his hometown in St. Paul and met a young woman named Ginevra King. It was a sledding party, as one would do in 1916, and he was completely smitten with her. And they began a 2-year correspondence, and he would regularly pop in to Lake Forest in an effort to woo her and win her over. And she was quite the beauty, and she was in pursuit by a lot of young men. But one of the things, she had 3 friends, and they branded themselves the Big Four, because they knew that if they could get marketing around who they would get the best possible male candidates for marriage.
They were like the influences of their time, right?
Yes.
Like crazy.
And so, you know, he would regularly travel to Lake Forest. He had it was like a second cousin. He referred to her as his aunt that he would stay with. He had Princeton, you know, schoolmates that he knew. So he had a lot of sort of casual ties as well as this relative. But historians who write about him say much of his sense of wealth comes out of these years that he comes to Lake Forest, because this is, you know, very estate wealth. These are the McCormicks, they're the Armours, they're, you know, 4 generations of wealth living up in grand homes in Lake Forest. And he is popping around all summer long experiencing this, and it colors his writing.
So it colors his writing, but I got to know what happened with the relationship.
Yes. So it's interesting, you know, they start out sort of fast and furious with the letter writing, but she is very much of the belief that, you know, you behave the way you're supposed to behave. So they are never unchaperoned, ever, not in the entire 2 years. She is regularly open with him about the fact that, you know, 7 other men have come calling. Girls were sort of measuring how many letters, whether or not you got flowers, what sort of wooing was taking place. And it's clear within a year that she's sort of somewhat interested in him, but he's not, you know, a major player in this competition for her hand. And he becomes aware of it, and then he starts to sort of turn on her. And he's petty and small and bitter in the way he corresponds with her over the course of last year. But it's interesting because in their correspondence, he asks her at the end, please burn my letters. And she said, well, you wrote nothing inappropriate, but I'm happy to. But do me the favor and do mine as well. And he does not. He types them up. He carries them with him for the rest of his life. They are in the Princeton Library. And now we can compare what she has written to him with some of the things in his books, where he takes direct quotes from her, he takes ideas from her.
And it's interesting. So, I mean, maybe Daisy was based off of her.
Partly on her. One of the most interesting things, and we talk about this in the exhibit that we're doing, is when you look at his description of women, they look like Ginevra. They're brown haired, they're deep voiced, they're very elegant and very staid. All of the covers, though, are sketched like Zelda. So most people presume his characters are Zelda. And Zelda's in there, but it is clear that Ginevra is a muse for him for the remaining 25 years of his life.
But not necessarily a flattering portrait that really reflects the factual way these women were, right?
Exactly. So, you know, one of the things that's really interesting when you look at these women's lives is they were rebellious, but in a way that was really meaningful. You know, Ginevra was this incredibly formidable woman who, when she married, one of her children ends up with Down syndrome, and the expectation in Lake Forest in 1930 is, well, you're going to institutionalize it. Her response was, nope, where he goes, I go, where I go, he goes, and if you don't like it, we don't need to see each other. And she really stood her ground around her family. Her best friend, Edith Cummings, was a golfer. Her parents had sort of gifted her the ability to not have to marry. They gave her a stipend, and she became a pro golfer. So at the point where Fitzgerald is writing The Great Gatsby, Edith is on the cover of Time magazine, the first female sportswoman. She's on the cover of other magazines. And so when he creates a character of Jordan Baker, he makes her a cynic and a cheat and sort of this ne'er-do-well character, whereas Edith was nothing like that.
And people can get all of this information in the exhibit. How long will it be out there?
So it opens tomorrow at 2, and then it will run until October.
Awesome.
We have multiple speakers coming in, so if you want to know more, a brilliant biographer is coming next Thursday to talk about this.
Carol, this is fascinating. I feel like we could talk to you for hours about this. It's so interesting. The Behind the Glamour is at the History Center of Lake Forest, Lake Bluff, now, as we mentioned, through October 4th. For tickets and more information, just head to lfbhistory.org or find more information on the socials right there.